All right, let's use this video to review about these reaction diagrams. You may remember, you're in here because you didn't do well on the quiz on these, by the way, but you may remember it was time on the bottom and the changes in energy as the reaction proceeded. So the quiz asked you to label all these things that are along the bottom, and we're just going to drag those and talk. And then the next slide will do a little bit of math. So these are pretty much exactly the same except for one basic difference. So first off, when we are at the start of a reaction, we always call those the reactants. Okay, so I'm just going to drag the reactants over here. So this line right here is showing you the energy of the actual reactants. Okay, as time goes on, the reactants are converted and they change to products. Okay, so on the graph, you have to know that we start with reactants, we end with products. Now, in order to convert my reactants to products, I have to add energy. That energy is equal to the height of where you started to this top of the bump. All right? The energy is defined as the activation energy. Okay? So a reaction will convert reactants to products if you can put in the activation energy. All right. Now, what we're going to do as well, when we have put in enough energy and we get to this point at the very top where the reaction is definitely going to happen now, all right, we call that the activated complex. The activated complex is the moment where you have put in the energy and the reaction will go to completion on its own. And I'm going to insert a video that shows you magnesium reacting. As the magnesium reacts, I heat it with the Bunsen burner, and I heat it so it gets the activation energy. But then it will start to react itself and glow very bright white. That is called the activated complex, because now that I've put the energy in, the reaction will convert itself to products without me adding energy. All right, the last thing to do on label on this graph is this distance. There's always a change in energy from my reactants to products. If my products have a higher line or more energy, then the measurement of this blue line is the energy gained in the reaction. Okay. Now, exothermic, it's almost exactly the same. We still start with reactants. We still end with products. We still have the activated complex at top. And we still had to add activation energy for this process to happen. Let me put the little bar here. So that measures my activation energy. All right. The only difference now is my products are lower than my reactants. So the distance from here to here, that would be the measurement of my energy loss. Okay. For your test, you have to be able to label these, so please put the effort in to get good at that. Okay, next is the math. The math is intended to be very easy. I made this graph. I put the reactants here, the products here. We just learned that from here to here is my activation energy. Okay? This is my activated complex. Okay, the math, I should have typed these questions out, I guess, to save time, but whatever. The math will ask you, like, what is the activation energy of this system? All right? The activation energy, that's the blue line. But I want the value of the blue line. So to find it, I take the top, which subtract the bottom, which is 5, and that tells me that my activation energy, the value of it, is equal to 10. And it's joules or kilocalories or whatever, 10 units of energy. I'll put a J. All right? It also might ask, what's the energy gained? Like, how much energy did this gain? So we just learned labeling it, that from here to here measures the amount of energy gained. So you go to the higher number, which is 10, the top, and you subtract the lower number, which once again was 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. So it would be joules. That's pretty much all that we do. The biggest mistake is kids sometimes think 0 is the bottom, but which it is on the graph, but when we do the math, we are always looking at from where we started, and that's really our 0 or our initial value. All right, so don't go all the way down. All right, try those 2 quiz questions and you are done.